Hi guys, this is Lada from astrolada.com with your weekly horoscope from the 3rd till the 10th of September. And I'm going to do this horoscope, this weekly horoscope, in a different way. I'm going to speak about each sign. I'm going to start with Aries and finish with Pisces. And this week we have some very interesting developments. Mercury is turning direct, so I'll speak how this is going to affect each sign. Also, Mars is moving into Virgo as well, so I'm going to speak how this will affect each sign as well in the prediction for the 12 signs. And we also have a full moon in Pisces, and very psychic, emotionally intuitive full moon. You might be feeling extremely emotional, everyone, this week. You might be feeling like having moments of extreme sensitivity, almost psychic, intuitive insights, and I'm going to be talking in what area of your life as well, according to your sun sign or ascendant sign. Check both. And in Indian astrology they check their moon sign, because the moon is your consciousness. So you can check sun, moon and ascendant sign for all the details. So we're gonna go with very psychic, very emotional full moon in Pisces. You might be dreaming certain things. There might be magical solutions to issues that are happening in your life, depending where this moon in Pisces is manifesting, because the full moon is about full manifestation. It's about potential, seeing the results of something, the result of your efforts, or something coming to fruition, or something coming, finding illumination, understanding about something. So there will be a lot of intuitive such understanding and illuminations. So we're going to speak about all of that for each of the 12 signs. Hopefully someone will put timestamps. And before that, I quickly want to tell you guys that do come on the 30th of September, Jupiter in Scorpio. I'm doing a webinar. It's going to be quite 3-4 hours probably, and we're going to see how it's going to affect each personally. It's going to be predictions personally for people. No, I mean, like, it's not going to be about the world, what's going to happen generally in the world. It's going to be personal astrology and how your luck will change, and I'll teach you how to do this like a professional astrologer. And it's not only Scorpio that's going to be affected. Everyone will be affected in some way, and Jupiter from Scorpio is going to give luck to 2 other signs. And everyone has those 3 signs somewhere in their horoscope, and in that webinar I'll teach you exactly where you have the green light and the support from the universe in the next 12 months. Okay, and also on the 7th of September we're doing a webinar all about Chiron, and on the 10th of September I'm doing a webinar all about Scorpio. Woo, intense, deep. So if you can get any of those, looking forward to have you. And this has been my most successful webinar so far, all about Aries, all about Libra, whatever. We're up to Scorpio now. It's part of my 12 signs foundational course. And of course, if you really like one course, I will give you the rest. You can order the rest without having to pay on top, including the first one that you bought. You can try one, and then I can include it in the price for the rest. Anyway, let's see what the week is holding, guys, for you. Thank you for bearing with me for the advertisement, but people say, oh, why do you advertise so much? Because I need to pay my bills. I have support to families, so we're making, and we need to spread knowledge as well. So and hopefully you enjoy the free information. Let's start with Aries. How is it going to affect you this month? This week. Well, first of all, Mercury is going direct, and Mercury was retrograde mostly in Virgo. So it means that some complications that you had, Aries, in regards to your work, even in regards to your love life, because Mercury is a little bit in the 5th house, retrograde, but most it's centered around the 6th house. So if there was some delays with the work projects, or having to work very hard, extra hard on some details of a work project or career project, or something behind the scenes, or if there were some complications with your health or with your routines, some hiccups, or the need to put some extra efforts, which were probably quite difficult in regards to changing health habits and health routines. Now when Mercury starts moving direct, maybe not immediately this week, but within a couple of weeks from now, you start feeling big improvements in that area. Or if you had to work very hard, 6th house is about hard work, you start seeing the results of that hard work. If you had to fix something, to edit it, to redo it over and over, especially in regards to work, 6th house is work, then the results will be coming on from the following week, guys, and you can pat yourself on the back. You've done well, you've cleaned that wardrobe, you've put order in your life more, you've organized yourself, or maybe you've gotten a healthier, you've done something, you re-examined your health routines in some way. I did that. And if it was hard till now, when Mercury starts moving direct, there will be a easing of those issues. And also Mars is moving into your 6th house, and also love life, because Mercury is retrograde in your 5th house. If there were some complications in regards to your love life, you might be able to move forward when Mercury starts moving direct from this week onwards, or some delays with lovers or love affairs or creative projects. Okay, then Mars is going into your 6th house as well, Aries, and it's going to stay there for a month and a half. So the whole September it will be there, and even till the middle of October. And this means that for the next month and a half, the energy, Mars rules energy, is shifting in a big way. And wherever Mars goes, Aries feels it very powerfully. And Mars being in the 6th house, it means that over the next month and a half, Aries, and it's forward movement of Mars. So you put a lot of energy moving forward, and a lot of things on, again, on 6th house, just like Mercury was retrograde there, but with Mercury retrograde it was more complicated. There were some difficulties, things that you have to reevaluate, re-examine, put extra efforts. Now with Mars, you just feel inspired, you feel ambitious to get a lot of work done for this month and a half in a practical way, to resolve a lot of work, to resolve a lot of practical issues. I personally know that for the next month and a half, I'll be the busiest for me since 2.5 years. And for many Aries, Aries ascendant, Sun, and Moon, you'll feel it as well. With Mars, the planet of energy, the planet of increasing speed, the increasing dynamism, going in the 6th house of work and responsibilities, daily responsibilities, duties can feel a bit overwhelming. But by the time Mars comes out of your 6th, you'll be, whoo, I managed to fix so many problems, to get so much work done. I'm so happy, you know. And while you do it, maybe it's not the easiest, and some problems might come up for you to fix as well. That's what Mars in the 6th does. But you can also move forward with health issues, and you can have a lot more self-discipline, because Mars is a soldier in regards to matters connected to your health. And of course there is the full moon, very psychic, intuitive, in your 12th house, Aries. This weekend, for the next 2 weeks after that, you will feel, maybe you might have dreams that give you premonitions that are true in some way. 12th house is the house of the invisible worlds, of sleeping, dreaming, of intuition, and you have the most intuitive sign, moon there with Neptune. This full moon is with Neptune. It's super psychic energy, guys. You might have even hear voices, I don't know, hear voices, some kind of, almost like it's the most magical house is the 12th. You don't know how things happen, but they happen. You might feel extremely emotional. Trust your intuition. Your intuition is extremely increased this month, this next 2 weeks, Aries. And there might be the finishing of something, coming to fruition. 12th house is endings. And almost in a magical way, it might come to an ending, but not in a negative way, more like seeing the result of something as a fruition, you know. And something, there might be some psychic energy coming to you from the subconscious, and some intuitive imagination can be extremely powerful for the next 2 weeks with this 12th house. And there might be like completion of something, as I said. All right. And if you're Taurus, then Mercury goes direct in your 5th house. So it means that if there were any complications with children, any delays in the life of your children, any complications with love, affairs, it goes direct in your 4th house, but mostly Mercury was retrograde in the 5th house. So what I'm trying to say, that if there were some complications with love life, if someone from the past might have come even, well, with Mercury retrograde, you might be able to move forward after that, when Mercury moves direct over this week and a little bit. You know, it takes a couple of weeks for you to start seeing it. Or if you're working on some creative project, editing, redoing it over and over, now you're going to start seeing the results of your efforts. And if there were some complications in dating, love life, with loved ones, with children, you know, having to say things, having to kind of re-agree the relationship with such loved people, this will be, you see why this mini crisis happened, and how, or you know, if there were some complications, you'll see, you know, the results of that, and they'll start getting resolved. And creative projects again, as I said. Also, Mars is entering your 5th house, which means that you're going to have a lot of energy and drive for the next month and a half, because Mars will be there for a month and a half, to, first of all, to do sports for fun. This is the 5th house. You'll definitely feel more energy for this. You have a lot more energy to pursue romantic experiences. 5th house is like that, and you'll be the one pursuing, to a lot more energy to have fun, a lot more energy to entertain. 5th house rules all those things, or for any creative projects, a lot more energy for that. And into dating, you put a lot more energy and move forward and be proactive, or with some creative projects as well. The same thing as Mercury retrograde in the 5th house, but Mars comes and joins it, but it's just that it creates, Mercury retrograde is about complications, Mars is about moving forward and getting a lot of things done. And tackling a lot of things that you didn't have the courage to do before. Then you also have the full moon in the 11th house, Taurus. So there will be, full moon is about something coming to completion, seeing the results of something. So maybe, and it's very intuitive, it's in Pisces, it's extremely intuitive, it's almost magical. So there might be some almost magical way of something appearing in your social life, which can create, which gives the result, or which can give an 11th house the house of gains as well. So there might be some kind of a fulfillment of something gainful that you've been working on, and you can receive those gains or those acknowledgement from peers, or this kind of rewards, because 11th house rules acknowledgement, rewards, you know, receiving recognition in some sort, or gains, any gains, material or social gains, like like in a sense of, you know, being in the public eye more, can come to some fruition as well. You can get positive results, and almost like without efforts, because this full moon is in Pisces, and it's with Neptune, without efforts, you know, and intuitively you might get some powerful realization in regards to who your true friends are, in regards to what your long-term goals are, and in regards to what dreams you want to follow. Intuitive, almost like magically something can be dropped to you as an inspiration, as what you have to do as long-term goals, you know, because that's the 11th house, so in regards to your friendships and social life. Okay, then we have Gemini. Gemini. For Gemini, the full moon is happening in your 10th house, guys. So it means that there will be a realization or something coming to completion in regards to your career and in regards to your reputation. Full moons are an auspicious event that usually give positive results. So, or you can receive something positive from authority figures or people in high positions, especially female, such because the full moon is female energy and it's with Neptune as well. And there might be even some kind of a magical development in your career, because this full moon is with Neptune. So make a wish, and it's more possible because of this magical full moon for it to happen, or especially if you're in a career that is more glamorous, that is more imaginative, that is more creative, you can have some powerful positive developments because of the full moon, and not only next week, but the next 2 weeks after that. And also you have Mercury going direct in your 4th house, well, mostly in your 4th house. And if there were some complications for you in regards to property, place of living, with family members, crisis with them over the past month or so, approximately a month, then when Mercury starts moving direct over the next 2 weeks, you will resolve those. If there were some negotiations for selling property or for buying property, this will finally go through, and they'll be even better than before. If you had to put extra effort, say, to reorganize or arrange your property or your home or something, some matters connected to documents or anything connected to managing and organizing your personal life, property, family life, these will start giving their results and becoming easier as well. And if there was some crisis with parents or family members, these will start resolving and becoming easier. And also Mars will enter your 4th house, Gemini, will stay there for a month and a half, so you have a unique opportunity once every 2.5 years, which starts now from next week and will continue till the middle of October, to put a lot of energy into doing new things, because Mars is about new energy, new things in regards to your home, in regards to your property, with your family. Just be careful not to, you know, just be careful You might feel more restless emotionally when Mars is in the 4th house, and more irritable emotionally, but it just gives you a drive to become extra active at home and personal life, you know, and do a lot of things, you know, because this is Mars, is doing a lot of things. Okay, then if you're Cancer, the full moon is triggering your 5th house of love and relation. The full moon is triggering your 9th house of basically 9th house rules higher communication from the higher worlds, intuition, inspiration, and Pisces. The full moon is in Pisces with the moon in Pisces plus Neptune there, which is extremely intuitive, which means that there might be some powerful, intuitive, almost like prophetic development in your life, like prophetic realization. Someone might be if you want someone to predict your future, and if you're Cancer, go to a psychic next week or the next 2 weeks, because of this full moon triggering the, you know, the 9th house of future. So you would have, in a very intuitive way, you'd come across much better psychic, for example, or advisor, or guru, or teacher. Or also there might be completion and seeing results of matters connected almost in a magical way, without efforts, in matters connected to foreign travel, to documents connected to foreign countries, anything to do with foreign matters, anything to do with higher education as well. But there will be some kind of a huge intuitive, almost like feeling what the future will hold. So stay aware. You will receive a download of information from high above intuitively about your future in some way, or about the future direction you're supposed to take. Also, if you happen to be if you're Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, the Mercury is going direct in your, sorry, just looking at your, it's going to start going direct, and it means that all matters connected to your 3rd house, which is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury was mostly retrograde in your 3rd house, will get resolved gradually over the next 10 days. And these are matters connected to documents, 3rd house, connected to problems with siblings, neighbors, teammates, co-workers, people that you know, if there were any complications with your teammates or playmates or schoolmates or siblings or relatives, they'll start resolving themselves. If there were any complications and anything like losses through phones, through information, through anything, some miscommunications that happen, some disappointment through communication that happen, you start resolving that. And you start kind of seeing the results of it. It's not going to be so complicated anymore. If there is anything to do with documents, 3rd house rules documents, if there was some lost information, lost emails, complicated lost emails, or phones, or broken phones or stuff, you'd be able to start, you know, solving those things finally. Okay, and Mars is also going to join your 3rd house, so for the next month and a half you're going to get so busy Mars, sorry, Cancers. You know, Mars for a month and a half in your 3rd house, there will be so many communications and such a flow of information, such dynamism in your everyday life. You'll get super busy, maybe working with groups of people again, and moving forward through such activities, and honing your skills, or putting a lot of energy in developing skills or learning things as well, and your mind becomes extra fast as well. Okay, if you're Leo, then Mercury is going direct, and if there are any complications or delays, Leo, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, if there are any complications or delays with finances, some losses, or if you are doing some rebudgeting, you start seeing the results of those extra efforts. Or if you worked for something extra hard, you can finally receive some financial reward. Or just like me, if resources have been a bit scarce, especially in the last month and a half, they will probably start improving now. You know, when Mercury starts moving direct for the next, maybe it will take you 2 weeks, and then Mars will enter your 2nd house, Leo, so you'll put a lot of energy for the next month and a half, because Mars will be in your 2nd house for a month and a half. It happens once every 2.5 years, that you put lots of energy into making and developing new resources. You might be also more impulsive in spending, but it almost feels like the spending is targeted towards, you know, if it's not created out of anger and out of impulse stupidity, most of it will be kind of targeted, because Mars needs a purpose, and targeted towards possibly creating new sources of income as well, maybe even pursuing more aggressively new sources of income. And yes, so let's see, what is the next sign? Virgo. Well, for you, Virgo, 2 planets entering your sign next week. First is Mars, and then Mercury towards the end of the week. So you're getting more and more empowered as Virgos. You're getting more and more, the 2 planets of energy, the Sun and Mars, are going to be in your sign, and Mars will stay in your sign till the middle of October. So you have the green light to start doing new things, to move ahead with new projects, to start manifesting on the material, physical level, practical, tangible things. If you have new ideas, go ahead with them. They will be successful. Move forward, guys, you know. You lots of energies. Mars is entering your sign from the 6th or the 7th. You see the energetic increase. You might become more irritable. You might become more inclined to criticize others with very biting words, because this is Mars. And you might be more stressed overall, because Mars is conjunct Mercury for the next 2 weeks in your sign, Virgos. So especially you might feel like there's a lot of stress, nervous tension around you, but it's very likely because you're starting a lot of new things. There are a lot of new beginnings for you. There is a lot of the need to work very hard as well, but it's going to give results, because all those planets are moving direct. And so you get empowered. 2 masculine planets enter your sign, guys. You become much more macho, more, in a sense, willing to fight for whatever you want, willing to go after what you want, like a hunter, willing to take the action. Even if you didn't feel the energy before that, you'll start feeling it more and more from this week. And also there is a full moon opposite in your 7th house. And full moon is about, especially this one is a magical full moon, because it's with Neptune, the planet of magic, and it's in Pisces, the sign of magic. And it's with the moon, very emotional planet. So you can become very psychic and intuitive in regards to your relationship. You can almost like even dream about someone in your relationship. It will be true about a business partnership or life partnership, or your marriage partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, and even it might give a fruition of some relationship, because full moons are about something completing, something giving its full potential, moving to the next level in a sense. So some of you, you know, might see powerful developments in regards to your personal life through relationships and business or personal relationship over the next 2 weeks while the eclipse is active. Sorry, the baby woke up, so there's no one to watch him, and I better deliver those weekly horoscopes, so he'll continue to be with me for some of the predictions. So what happens if you're Libra? Libra next week, first of all, Mars is entering your 12th house, Libras, which indicates that your energy, you might feel that over the next month and a half, the energy is a little bit dissipated for you, because the 12th house is the house of where, you know, where the intangible, the invisible. So you might be feeling like you're putting efforts, but they're going to the wind, and it's better, instead of having direct actions and such that are more confrontational or more competitive, to kind of focus your actions more towards helping someone, towards being more charitable actions, or towards things, because Mars is energy, 12th house is the imagination, the invisible world. So maybe you can become much more active in the in regards to some creative project or something to do with your imagination, or you can be very active in regards to traveling somewhere abroad, for example. But don't be active in regards to gossiping or something behind the scenes, because Mars can, in the 12th house over the next month and a half, can create some problems with hidden enemies behind your back. So if you want to be safe from such energies, don't get involved yourself in some kind of behind the scenes maneuvers, or some kind of gossip, or some kind of negative actions towards others behind their back. And this is how the universe can protect you more if you yourself are not involved in that. But also try and be careful and guard your back a little bit. But we have for you a full moon in the 6th house, Libras. And this immediately indicates that this full moon is going to be active for the next 2 weeks, and this means that it's going to very much help you, because full moons are positive events that give material manifestation in regards to completing some work project, in regards to seeing the results of some health improvements that you've done coming to fruition, some health issues that you've been working on, for example, or something to do on behind the scene work. Sixth house is the efforts we have to put on something, fixing, improving something, improving some skills. And with full moon there in the sixth house, you'll be able to see the results of that, the results of some efforts you've been putting energy on. And there might be some illumination or some powerful intuitive insights in regards to solving some health problems, in regards to finding the right doctor or physician over the next 2 weeks, because this full moon is very magical. As I said, it's in Pisces with Neptune, so almost like the angels are helping you there. Neptune and Pisces rules angelic presence, the invisible forces, the helpers of God. So ask for help, and over the next 2 weeks after this full moon in your sixth house, you might be able to receive it in regards to your work, in regards to your sixth house health, in regards to matters of addictions. Overcoming addictions is the sixth house, in regards to matters of debt as well. There might be almost magical solution or some positive development and results in regards to debts, health, all those things of the sixth house that we talked about, purification of some sort, organization and order, and perfecting your skills. If you're Scorpio, ascendant, sun or moon, like this baby, double Scorpio, then Mercury goes retrograde in your 11th house. Sorry. And if there was any issues connected to your friends, if there were some complications connected to payments as well, 11th house is gains, salaries, bonuses. If there were some complications, or if you worked very hard for something to do with the bonus or salary or some recognition or some title or honor, you might be able to finally receive those. So if there were some complications in regards to your friendships, this will finally start to sort themselves out and come back to normal. Or if there were some complications in regards to if you had to work very hard on completing some long-term goal of yours or some long-term dream, which is the 11th house again, it's going to be, when Mercury starts moving direct, things will become so much easier and so much more positive for you in regards to that. And also Mars will enter your 11th house for the next month and a half, Scorpios. So it means that you put a lot of energy in gaining beneficial and pursuing and creating, because Mars is a planet of the hunter, someone who pursues, someone with personal willpower creates beneficial relationships, business. 11th house is the house of business or relationships. I think I'm getting some help here with the baby, please, because he's getting a bit. Thank you so much. Oh, it's crazy. Sorry guys, it's like I literally have 10 minutes a day or 20, and I try to record whenever I can, so I can deliver those. It's so hard. And anyway, so if you're Scorpio as well, Mars going into your 11th house can make you become much more ambitious and competitive with your friends in your social circles, pursue financially mutually beneficial relationships as well. Not sexual, but social relationships. Also pursue much more, for the next month and a half, much more progressively, progressively and proactively pursue friendships, pursue social contacts, and pursue and get them as well, and pursue new financially gainful situations. 11th house, the house of gains. Almost like you'll be more aggressive, business-like, and pursue such situations that bring more gains materially, financially for you, and help you fulfill some of your long-term goals. And at the same time, there is a full moon in your 5th house. So something is getting illuminated for the next 2 weeks in regards to your love life. You're receiving intuitive aha moment. It's happening in Pisces. Pisces, the most intuitive sign, the most emotional. You might feel it like a gut feeling. You might dream it. You might dream your future lover. You might dream your future child. 5th house rules those things. Or you might dream, or you get some inspiration intuitively, or some vision almost about a future creative project. Or you might see, you can receive some realization or aha moment, which is what full moons are about. Full fruition realization in regards to any of those matters, in regards to a lover one, in regards to a love relationship, in regards to your love life, in regards to your child or children, or in regards to a creative project that you're working, some creative project of some sort. And there might be a completion and fruition, and seeing the results of some creative projects, seeing the results of efforts you've put in romantic relationships, or maybe some kind of a positive development in the life of your children. And it's very kind of, I would say the next 2 weeks can be also quite fertile as well. Alright, so if you are Sagittarius, then the full moon is happening, Sagittarius, for you in your 4th house, which indicates that something can transpire and you can see the results of something regarding to your family or home or property, almost like in a magical way. You can almost feel intuitive, or you might have dream of a family member that tells you something, or a family member might tell you something intuitive. You know, you might be feeling to the bottom, to the core of your being, something in regards to place you have to live in, something to do with your home or family overall, because the 4th house rules all those things. You might feel more emotional than other times, even though Sagittarius is not the typical thing for them. They might definitely feel like that. And also the 4th house is connected to be careful for leaks. It's too much water in that 4th house. The moon is watery planet. Neptune, Pisces, all of those are water connected signs and planets. Just maybe check out for that. But also there is a connection for emotional healing and emotional deep connection with family of some sort. Something positive happening with property, family members, personal life of some sort. Place of living as well, because full moons are about positive developments. Something coming to completion. You might, for example, complete a sale of a property. You might complete renovation of home or something like that, and see the results of those. Or you can complete some project with your family. And at the same time, your 10th house is very powerfully activated this week and the next couple of weeks as well, because Mercury is turning direct, and Mercury was retrograde mostly in your 10th house, Sagittarius. So if there were some complications in regards to your career, in regards to matters connected to authority figures, bosses, in regards to institutions of some sort, if there were some delays or complications, this will be resolved. Will come back to normal. If you have to put some extra efforts in regards to your career, administrative documents, papers, writing, you know, arranging things, redoing them over, when Mercury turns direct, you know, this pressure will release, it will become less, and you'll see the results of the need you had to re-edit, redo, reorganize, to put extra effort in some career project, or some career negotiations. So for example, if you've been in negotiations for starting a new job, or renegotiating a position of some sort, or your role in a career of some sort, now when Mercury starts moving direct, you'll see the results of that, or it might complete in some way. Okay, and Mars is entering your 10th house for the next month and a half till the middle of October, so you have a rare opportunity as Sagittarius to put a lot of energy into your career and improve your social status. You might be burdened with a lot of duties and responsibilities, because Mars is planet of hard work, and 10th house is duties, responsibilities. Mars is extra speeding up a lot of projects, a lot of you know, maybe a boss that pushes you a lot, that demands a lot from you, maybe a boss that is very competitive. But if you're the boss yourself, you'll be highly competitive for the next month and a half, and you'll be pushing yourself with new ideas to develop your business or whatever it is that you're doing in the world. So busy, busy. And don't fight with authority figures. I would advise you, while Mars is in your 10th house for a month and a half, just work hard. Just work hard with them, and because there might be some more such authority figures or institutions that are pressing your button, that are annoying you a bit more, but it's only so you can get more motivated and get more done. And it's great time for the next month to start new projects in regards to career, in regards to work. Go ahead, be productive, proactive, you'll get great results, such areas. Okay, if you're Capricorn, there is a full moon in Pisces. So that would be your 3rd house, Capricorn. So it means that you can receive the efforts, the results of the final manifestation, or the results of matters connected to papers, to some information. When there is activation of the 3rd house, there might be some intuitive information that also comes to you, or some secret information. Pisces is connected to secrets. That actually should be positive, because full moons indicate positive things. And something that becomes very clear to you, something almost like, aha, it's so clear now, I understand. Some information, piece of the puzzle, will come to you with this full moon over the next 2 weeks in regards to some information you've been looking for, or you are missing to fill up this information that you need. And also there might be some important developments with siblings, neighbors, workmates. If you've been working on some project together, for example, with workmates at work, 3rd house rules small groups activities, on some business or administrative task. 3rd house rules that on some project that requires writing, speaking, or some kind of mental activity, some mental efforts, then this full moon can be like some business commercial activity as well. 3rd house rules all those. This week you might be, you might get some closure, or seeing the results of such efforts, but also you'll be very intuitive in your thinking, and you might be quite emotional, because this full moon is extremely emotional with Pisces, and with Neptune there. And it's almost like you're not thinking with your logical brain, you're thinking intuitively, and you can get better results if you do that, actually, and more imaginatively. Okay, and you're having Mars is entering, and Mercury is turning direct as well, which will affect your 9th house mostly. Gradually from this week, you start resolving matters connected to travel, matters connected to foreign countries, matters connected to higher education, and become very proactive in regards for those for the next month and a half. You have a forward move, like a forward push when Mars enters your 9th house. And actually Mars really will help Capricorns from another earth sign to be much more, competitive, to be much more efficient, to be much more, for doors to open more easily for you through your actions, because Mars is personal efforts, personal actions that we put. Because it's in a harmonious sign from new Capricorn, just doors will start opening more easily when you put some effort, when you try and initiate something new. The universe will be helping you for the next month and a half, kind of more lucky with your actions, so to speak. And if there are any complications with matters connected to foreign countries, connected to travel, higher education, or pre-qualification, or about your plans, if they got confused in some way, 9th house rules, all those things, when Mercury starts moving direct from this week, all those things get resolved. And you're actually going to start liking more and more the energy from the end of this week, because Mercury is also entering Virgo, and you do like when planets are in another earth sign. The Sun will be there, Mars, Mercury. So because things are, you're in your own water, so to speak, another earth sign, you kind of, you know best what, and especially with this intuitive 3rd house being triggered, you know intuitively what to do. And a lot of energies will be helping you, supporting you in that direction. If you're Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, the full moon is happening in your 2nd house. So you might see the results of some efforts connected to money coming to you, connected to some fruition, maybe gaining something valuable. Maybe the full moon can illuminate matters connected to resources and money. and possessions for you in matters connected to self-worth. You might even gain something in a magical way without efforts, because it's in the sign of Pisces with Neptune. It doesn't have efforts, like things flow to you in some way. And you can even visualize and dream or about some material financial results that you want to receive, because full moons are about fruition, and you can have intuitive realizations in regards to what you have to do to be more successful financially and materially. And something can magically also has a positive effect in healing on your self-worth, which is the second house. So on a more mundane level, you can gain some beautiful object or something valuable or a bit more money of some sort, and that will continue for the next 2 weeks, this week and 2 weeks after that, while the full moon is in what the full moon is giving it effects financially. And at the other side, the 8th house is triggered. Mercury is starting to move direct. So if there were some complications and delays like I had in regards to money coming to you from others, whether it's from a divorce, from a spouse, from a business partner, from clients, if there was some delays and slows down, Mercury starts moving direct from the middle of this week, or so basically all those problems start getting unlocked and unblocked, and you're finding solutions for them. If there was issues connected to intimacy as well, 8th house rules sex and intimacy, if there were some complications, they start getting resolved again and moving forward. If there were some complications in regards to inheritances, taxes, insurances of some sort, sorting such matters, and you had to put extra efforts, now things will normalize and you'll get positive and easier results. And not only that, but Mars will also enter your 8th house and will stay there till the middle of October, Aquarius. So it means that for quite a long time you can really put a lot of energy. Mars is the planet of energy, of developing new resources that comes to you from business partners, married partners, from banks, from collaborating with others in some sort, from clients. You're gonna just really push and be competitive in regards to that, and you can put more, and you can have deeper psychological transformations, because Mars speeds up whatever house it enters, and 8th house is deep psychological transformations. So it's almost like it creates like a catalyst when Mars enters the 8th house to transform on a deep level in some way. Just be careful for some accidents for the next month and a half, because they're more likely. Okay, and then if you're a Pisces, well, Mercury starts to move direct, especially it was mostly retrograde in your 7th house, which means that if there were any complications connected with your love life, with your relationships, business relationships, personal relationships, collaborations with someone, some contract that you are signing, some agreement, some business partnerships, some marriage partnership, or if your marriage partner or boyfriend or girlfriend, committed ones, had some problems, or if you had to reevaluate the relationship and create new terms for it, now things start coming back to normal and they'll be straightened out. There'll be no more problems. In a sense, at least you see the results of those renegotiations. So if there was some delay, some contract or signing of 7th houses, contracts, business deals, this will come back on track and straighten themselves out. Or if you work very hard in regards to some partnership, you'll start seeing the results of it now. Plus Mars will enter your 7th house and will be there for a month and a half, Pisces, which means that you're going to have a very eventful month and a half in regards to relationship. Actually, you can be very proactive, pursuing agreements, business partners, pursuing partnerships of any sort, pursuing committed relationships. Also, you can attract a lot more Mars people around you, people that are pressing your buttons, but that are also that act like an engine for you, that are triggering you into action. So if you really want to complete something, if you really want to get a lot of things done and to have more energy, and if you want to feel more motivated, you can be very competitive with people on a one-to-one level for the next month and a half, and they can irritate you more for certain, because they'll be also competitive and more pushy like Mars is, and more kind of outspoken and even feisty, might be willing to fight with you, but you're also in this mood and you're attractive. But if you want to have like most initiate new things, do it in a partnership for the next month and a half, and collaborate with someone and have someone push you, because the engines is in the house of the others. And very proactive relationships, though, business or personal, and you can pursue them as well. and there is a full moon in Pisces, of course. Pisces, probably your intuition will be the highest it's ever been in years, because this full moon is happening conjunct Neptune, the planet that rules your Pisces, the most psychic planet in the most psychic sign, with the other most psychic planet. So the three most psychic elements of astrology are happening here, you know, and they're gonna influence you for the next 2 weeks. You'll feel very emotional. You will feel very psychic. You'd feel very the spotlight will be in you for the next 2 weeks. For some reason, you'll become a center of attention. The moon puts its projector on you, and almost some magical things can happen in your life, because moon with Neptune in Pisces, something without you making efforts, you can magnetically manifest it in your life. So watch out for those over the next 2 weeks, you know. Some kind of intuitive understanding for the overall direction in your life, intuitive or magical development to put you on a path, or to give you the results of, you know, to make you central figure in some way, and to give you the results of previous actions, but in a positive way. And if you want to be more rational, and if you want to have more grounding, turn to others, because the two masculine planets, Mars and the Sun, will be in the sign of others, the 7th house to your partner, whatever, and Mercury, the planet of organizing, planning, attention to detail, will be also from the 10th of September there. So, you know, I would advise you now, September, to basically, if you have to rely on, if you have to do something very practical to do it with the support of someone else. And at the same time, there will be a lot of focus on you, and you can shine in your very Piscean way. Those Piscean qualities of intuitiveness, of great imagination, of compassion, of creativity will help you stand out in some way. So thank you so much, guys. Do come on my webinar all about Scorpio, and also all about Chiron, or on the 30th of September, Jupiter in Scorpio. And I'll see you next week with your weekly horoscope.